Mate! Merry Christmas! Happy Hanukkah! Happy Kwanzaa to those who celebrate. JT McRoberts here, and I'm here to walk you through another special Christmas New Year edition of What Comics Did You Buy This Week? I hope you're all having a great holiday so far. I know I had a really fantastic haul of comic and storytelling oriented gifts, and I was also able to make it out to some of the local comic book shops this week, as well as some of the secondhand bookstores, and I picked up a few nice pieces that I wanted to share with all of you. So without further ado, go forward we will. Thank you, Santa Yoda. Up first, you see Hawk the Slayer, number 1 of 5. I think this series is actually the final issue, or the penultimate issue was just released. But since I haven't been buying it, I prefer to buy issue 1 of any new series that I encounter and place my judgment and whether or not I'm going to buy it again in the future entirely upon the quality of the work itself. I am a fan of Garth Ennis and Henry Flint, so already there are a lot of reasons to look at this. I can't imagine there are too many fish effing jokes in here for those Garth Ennis fans out there. But I do like the look of it. Flint is a good artist for this type of D&D type storytelling, and they're going a very gritty way. I like the look of that. But anyway, it's not a review, just showing off the stuff that I picked up. We also grabbed a copy of the latest issue of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, the show is not sponsored by Marvel or DC or any other publisher, but I'm just sharing the books that I actually picked up, not doing any sort of promotion. But I'm always a sucker for the Crisis books, because when I first started buying comics regularly, like beyond G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Crisis was in the middle of being published, and I picked those books up as they first hit the stand, and I pretty much buy every Crisis that comes out. I guess that's why they keep going back to it, because suckers like me keep on reading them. Though I thought Final Crisis was actually the final Crisis, but I guess I don't have a problem with there being a dark one as well. Here's something I'm not familiar with at all. It's an independently published book. We Live, Age of the Palladions, however they pronounce that. I'll see how many ways I can mispronounce it before the end of this video. Let's see, Aftershock Imprint or Publishing, I suppose. The Miranda Brothers. We Live, Age of Palladions. Yes, if there's anyone out there that wants your name or the name of your work mispronounced in as many ways as possible in a reasonably passable Southern accent, hit me up. I'll see what I can do for you. We'll come up with a lot of different ways to pronounce it. Hototo or Hot Odo. I just like the look of this. Again, this was a few issues into this series, but it's really the first time that I've noticed it on the shelf. And it caught my eye, and I thought, hey, you know what? Let's give this a shot. And if it is good, if I enjoy it, I'll go back and pick up a few more next week. I also grabbed something out of the back issue bins. Fantastic Four, number 292. Believe it or not, I have been trying to get this issue, well, obviously not trying too hard over the past few years, but trying to get a copy of this ever since it was on the stands. I was buying Fantastic Four at the time. I vividly remember buying the issues right before this, but this issue sold out before I could get down to, it's not a comic shop or comic stand, but a drugstore, down to the old Rite Aid. I mean, they had a spinner rack. There was a shelf of magazines where they also had stuff like Savage Sword of Conan. Sometimes Heavy Metal would pop up. So, it was pretty much my go-to place for getting the best variety of of graphic comic books back at the time. And this issue, I was really looking forward to it because, spoiler for the previous issue, Nick Fury wanted to kill Hitler because the Fantastic Four finds themselves back in time. And again, it was sold out, so yay, mission accomplished. I can finally fill in this missing piece of my John Byrne collection. So that is what I picked up at the local shop, but I also stopped by the, put this over here with the lovely Mutitia peeking in from the corner. I also stopped by the secondhand bookstore. Was very surprised to see a copy of this, the old Warren magazine reprints. Well, I don't know, are these reprints or were they first time? No, they must have been reprints of some sort of The Spirit by Will Eisner. I very rarely see these. I mean, even in comic shops, it's hard to come across these. I've come across one or two over the years, and then I found another few at comic convention or two. And then boom, I was very surprised to see this on the shelf. Very, very low price. I don't like to give away all the prices, but it was a steal, let me say. And for fans of sequential illustration and the art of storytelling, you cannot go wrong with Will Eisner. Anyway, this is not a review. Ooh, I stuck a card in there. Just now realized that. I literally just bought this at the store. It was part of our after Christmas shopping for the year. Great use of the graphics here with that splash page for the Spirit in Outcast. Very good. Very good. Nice stuff. The expressions of Eisner's characters are just phenomenal. Oh, that's the cover image. What do you know? I also found a very old magazine, which I'm not familiar with in the slightest. Comic Feature. Stan Lee sounds off every month in Comics Feature. Stan reveals how to write comics. Seems like a no-brainer for me. They had this there very cheap, couple bucks. Live from LA, Ray Bradbury talks to Chuck Jones. Marvel's Mystic Mage, Doctor Strange. Investing tips from Mike Benton. It'll be interesting to check that out and see did they predict anything properly as to what would actually be, what would actually go up in value over the years. But this, they must be going into the second year of Alpha Flight there. You see issue number 19. Love this run of Doctor Strange. It's another series that I'm filling in from that time. Oh, and the New Universe. First mention of the New Universe. 1986. Okay, so there you go. This must have been published just at the end of 85, I suppose, as they're talking about the plans for the New Universe, which was in 86. We'll move on to some of the gifts I received for this Festivus holiday. Festivus for the rest of us. I'll tell you what, Amazon wishlist is a wonderful thing because my friends and family that know how to follow it never go wrong in buying me something awesome. Here's an example of that. Championship Fighting, Explosive Punching, and Aggressive Defense by Jack Dempsey. The champ. The one and only. The man even Mike Tyson says is the most ferocious fighter of all time. But I remember reading about this book actually in Bruce Lee's Tao Jeet Kune Do. It's one of his boxing books that he referenced in his study of boxing. Anyway, for those of you here on the Comic-Jutsu channel that are here for more jutsu than comic, definitely recommend this book. I've already been looking through it, picking up combinations and defenses and everything, as well as the Tao Jeet Kune Do by the one and only Bruce Lee. If you're interested in martial arts, philosophy, combat, mixed martial arts, kung fu, or just Bruce Lee in general, you cannot go wrong with the Tao Jeet Kune Do. Everybody has to have their own copy. Okay, another nifty gift that I received. Alien the Illustrated Story. So this is actually the most recent published version of this original story. This is originally published 1979. This edition is 2012. So this actually makes the third version of this that I have, because as you've seen on some of the other videos, I actually have the original heavy metal issues in which this appeared, in addition to the original collected version. So there you go. It'll be interesting to compare and contrast the colors, the texture of the pages, and all of that. See if anything at all has changed from any one of the versions of this adaptation of Alien. Yeah, fantastic piece right there. Up next, picked up a couple, or rather I was gifted a couple how-to books. I'm a big fan of how-to books. I mean, if they're actually good, if they're not the goofy, you know, hey kids, learn to draw comics type of thing. And I'd read the reviews on Framed Ink, and all the reviews are fantastic. I mean, this series comes highly recommended. Drawing and composition for visual storytellers. And in my mind, much like with you know, books on anything, or in particular, you know, boxing or martial arts or what have you, I mean, I'll buy almost anything if I can pick up like one technique or one little thing that helps me add some nuance to what I'm doing. It makes that whole book worth it. That's my opinion anyway. So I was given these for Christmas. Framed Ink Volume 2. Frame format, energy and composition for visual storytellers. Fantastic. Cannot wait to dive into these. They came very highly recommended, and I have to squeeze them onto my shelf with all the other fun books on the art that I've collected from over the years. I was also given a copy of the Artisan Edition of John Romita's Amazing Spider-Man. Absolutely fantastic. If you're familiar with this, you already know all about it. But it features pages of John Romita's work from The Amazing Spider-Man, as well as Jim Mooney's inks, who we know went on to be one of the first inkers to work with John Romita's son, aka Junior. So I got that one, and this one as another gift. Artisan edition of the Best of EC Stories. Absolutely fantastic. If you haven't already, definitely check out my interview with Al Feldstein. I talked to him about his work and time at EC. He's very gracious with his time. I felt really lucky to get to talk to him. And again, another fantastic book. I cannot wait to dive into. Wow. Let's look at this work. But anyway, maybe one day we'll have some sort of a flip through or a comparison on the different versions of these books. And last but certainly not least, I've got two pieces here that were part of my present to myself. Those are always the best. IDW had a sale on their artists and artisan editions. Unbelievable, like 75% off, 80% off a lot of these. I don't know if they're just clearing out their warehouse or what exactly is going on, but they sold these super cheap. And I was able to get in. I found out about the sale probably maybe a day into it or half a day into it. By that time, almost everything was sold out, but this is what I was able to get. There were a few more that I just didn't get. They weren't like high on my list of artists that I wanted, but most definitely I wanted these. John Byrne, Fantastic Four Artist Select Series. If you follow the channel, you know that I am trying to complete my John Byrne run. Oops, just slid everything around there. For example, my John Byrne run on Fantastic Four, probably the best thing he ever wrote and drew. Definitely in combination, though I am a fan of John Byrne's Next Men. Very nice. This was actually, this particular storyline was my first real exposure to John Byrne's Fantastic Four work, and it's what sold me as well. I mean, God, just look at this, the majesty and power in the imposing figure of Terrax the Tamer. Terrax Untamed. As he flies through space. Hey, look at this. It's a Christmas issue. Hey, I'll have to read this week. There you go. I love that little strange synchronicity like that. I've literally just opened this up on camera, so I'm just as surprised as you are. Actually, I have the single issues of a bunch of these, if not all of them. But this is a great format. It's really big. Pages aren't super glossy or anything, but they are nice and thick. The colors look good and vibrant. So there you go. John Byrne Fantastic Four Artist Select Series. And finally, the last part of my Christmas to Me, John Byrne's Marvel Classics Artifact Edition. I have not even cracked the box open yet. These literally just arrived, which is why we felt the need to go ahead and shoot this video today. Look at this. Now you can see why I have the camera up a little bit higher today, so you can see all of this Artifact Edition cover right there. Look at that. Enter Mordred, the Mystic. I always mispronounce Mordred's name as well. Modred. Great stuff, great stuff. I think this has a piece of Iron Man in it. Not Iron Man, but Iron Fist. Classic Captain America issue. I wish it was signed by Byrne. That would be cool. But alas, my copy is not signed as far as I know. Check it out in the plastic. Again, these came straight from IDW in their sale. Great price. I was lucky to get in on the ground floor. Well, not as the sale launched, but at least during the first day of the launch. And before all of the really cool Artifact Editions were sold out. And I'm super happy to be able to add this one to my collection. So, there you go. And thus concludes our episode of What Comics Did You Buy this week? Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down there. Tell your friends about the channel as we watch it grow and grow and grow. Make sure you check out the upcoming superhero spotlights, episodes of rarities, and of course, everyone's favorite comic book dojo. Thanks for watching, Denizens. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Mate!